Greetings everybody, welcome to our little zoo here. We're going to talk shops today. Yes, we're going to talk shopping. Now, before we actually dive into the shops and how they break down themselves, there is one little thing, a little tip I want to give you. Because we want our people to be happy. If our guests are happy, they're going to spend more money. If you have a staff building that is purely for your vendors, then what they can do is every interaction they have with the customers, they make them more happy. If the people are happy, they'll spend more money, as we say. It's a beautiful, wondrous thing. So yeah, it's worth having something. Also, you want to keep that a little bit closer to your... try and keep the staff building that you've got for them a little bit closer to the vendors rather than the main sort of zoo area where the zookeepers would be. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the various different buildings, the info kiosk, so on and so forth. We're going to do tweaks and changes. Then we're going to look at our profit from the year before, the year after, because I would love to say to you there's a magic number. I'd love to say to you, just put this number into all the different things and that's what's going to work for you. Unfortunately, it's not. Or fortunately, I would say, because this is a simulator, so therefore you need to tweak, keep track of these things, work out where you can get more money, where you're losing out, so you may have upped some money, or you may have added some cheese or gherkins or whatever, and now you need to change it. So we're going to start with the info building. Now, our worker here is obviously off taking a break. Fair play to him. Hopefully he's getting his buff. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to tweak all these prices up just a little bit. I'd like to just round them off. So we've got $2. We'll just round off these numbers just to get a feel for it. All we're doing in this one is trying to work out what people will accept, what they won't accept, whether it's going to make us more money or less money. Because as you go through, the guests should be around the same. So from this year to last year, we might get a few more guests, a few less guests, but we can roughly work out where we've gone right, where we've gone wrong, as long as we keep track of these things. I would love to say to you, there's the magic number. I would love to say to you, just put everything as this price, and it's all going to work out, and you'll be great, and you'll make tons of money. But this is a simulator. So we need to go through, we need to tweak little things here and there, try and keep track of it, then look and see what's worked, what hasn't. And that's all we're going to do. So we're going to go through everything, absolutely everything, all these umbrellas, all these information packs, everything else, the adoption packs, and we're just going to tweak. We're just going to say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Now, in our previous year, skipping way past this, we actually didn't have our facility switched on. We're going to switch them on at the very end, which is what you're going to see. So here we go. Now, first one, and this is a big one with gold peel. The difference between drinks and food is that the drinks, when you add some ice, you can add some or you can add lots. It actually affects the bottom line. When you do it for drinks, because it's just frozen water you're adding and you're actually using less Gulpy, you save money. So you actually gain more profit. I think it's 10 cents for lots of ice, 5 cents for a little bit of ice. Now, what we're then going to do is we're just going to round it up. So we're going to get profit of $4 from each thing. Now, bear in mind, when you up the price of these things, one, guests shouldn't be that annoyed about the ice. We've got a happy, cheerful worker there who's going to make people happy. They shouldn't be that bothered about the ice, but the price may affect them. So we know last year it was a little bit less. We're upping it now. Let's see what happens in the next year. Beef. Now, beef, as we see here, we got a condiments option here, but this actually takes away money from our pocket, but it will make people happy. If you put a ketchup, gherkin, mustard, cheese, full shebang, the true Chief Burger XL, it's going to hugely eat into our bottom line, but it will make the guests very, very happy. So it's entirely up to you how you want to balance it. We've added a few bits to the Chief XL, but we're then going to up the price a decent chunk. We've added nothing to the normal Chief Burger, so we might drop that down a little bit. We're gonna balance these things out, just see how they work, and then we can tweak them the following year. Red balloons, yellow balloons, green balloons, tons of balloons. Again, we're just going to tweak the prices a little bit. The big thing here is the adoption packs. Adoption packs will make you so much money. Alright, I will say this now. The Gulpy, the toilets, if you've got a very small zoo, they're not needed. You don't need food, you don't need toilets, you don't need cash points, you don't need any of that. You can have an info stand which sells the adoption packs, which is well worth having, especially near the entrance. And that's really it. That's all you need at the beginning, because the adoption packs people will buy constantly. It'll get you a good bit of money, and you got to remember, if somebody's coming to your zoo, if you've got one exhibit, it's going to take them all of 5 minutes to walk around your zoo. So they don't need to go to the toilets. They can do that at home. They don't need to eat because they're not there for that long. You know, yeah, you may want they're going to want adoption packs before they want cuddly toys and so on and so forth. So go for the info center at the very beginning. That's one big tip that I will give you. Everything else, as I say, once you put it down, it's just kind of tweaking it and adjusting it. Now, you may want to synchronize all of your prices across the board at the very beginning, but when your zoo gets a lot bigger, you can actually manipulate the prices. So you might want it cheaper near the entrance, so the guests come in and they're, ooh, I can buy this, I can buy that, I'm happy. When they're further away from the entrance, dot some cash points down, charge them for the cash points. They're having to take money out, they're having to eat food, drink, because they're now way in the park, they can't get out. They need these things, and you can start charging a little bit more for them. But again, it's all balancing, it's all working out, and you can go to the individual building, you can actually see how much profit it's making, whether it's making a profit in its lifetime, so on and so forth. As you see there at the very end, we added the facilities. We only 20 cents, so it costs 20 cents to go to the toilet, costs 20 cents to withdraw cash. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to whiz through, and we're going to fast forward, and you see it's a huge downpour here. I can only imagine this this map is obviously based in the UK. Huge downpour. It seems to be okay now. But it does mean people are going to buy umbrellas and so on and so forth. Now, as you can see, we've made these changes. We're going with the heat map. People aren't annoyed. There's not suddenly a huge, load of red. People are. It's going to take them a long time to get annoyed about food prices and things like that. They're primarily just not going to buy it. They're not going to be interested. They're not going to buy these things. They'll be like, and then they'll leave the zoo. Especially when a zoo's this size. When it gets bigger, it gets more difficult to manage, but more rewarding when you do. And you can micromanage each thing. As I say, if you want, just set the prices just a couple of cents higher than they are, and then just synchronize everything, and you'll be all good. Won't be an issue at all. So anyway, you've got a huge, colossal zoo, and if you really want to, you can get in there and really micromanage. So, enough of me waffling on. Let's fast through the end of this year, and let's actually see what's happened. See what we've learned from this. Okay, so here we are. It's the end of the year. It's the 29th of December, 30th of December. We're almost there. Let's stop it now, and let's have a quick look. See how we did. Now, we made a profit. It's not a vast profit, but if you consider it to, we lost $1,000 last year. We made dollars. It's more green. More green than red is always good. So you see here, ticket sales are actually slightly down, which is interesting. We did not adjust the ticket price at all. So that means we had slightly fewer guests coming in. The fact that we made money is a good sign. It shows primarily, one, obviously our outgoing costs were less. But we did make money in certain areas. Now, interestingly enough, you can see here that our food sales were down. Our drink sales were down. That shows our adjustments didn't quite work the way we wanted them to. They need looking at. We can reevaluate, we can go back, we can take out our ice, take out various things. We can go back on the things that we did, try and balance them back out, see how we do the following year. And that's what it's all about. It's just tweaking, changing, seeing what worked. Souvenirs, about the same. About the same. So we can keep that the way it is. That's not a problem. Our info kiosk, woo! Made way more money. That is a good sign. So we can leave that as is. That's making money. That's good. People obviously were happy to pay for those. And I know what you're looking at. You're looking at where we made significant increases, which is the adoptions. As I say, the info center makes money so much because it has the adoption packs. It's the same as the balloons and everything else. They're great. Okay, all of those things that do the souvenirs, fantastic. But anything that does the adoption packs, people love, and they will pay good money for. It's a big thing to remember. As I say, if there's one thing you're going to take away from this, it's don't go too big, too crazy, too fast. Just add in little bits that you need. The info center, fantastic to start with. Put it near the entrance. And then wait. Wait on what your guests want. Wait on what they actually need. And go from there. Your guests will tell you. That's what that infograph thing, the heat mapping is so good for. The guests will tell you what they need when they need it. And just tweak. Keep playing with it. It's a big part of the game. It's a big part of the game. And you can easily make a ton of money just by adjusting as you go each time. But that is me done, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this helps in some way with shops. Don't be afraid to play about. Don't be afraid to tweak. Alright, your guests will tell you when things are going wrong, and they'll definitely tell you when things are going right, because you'll have a lot more money in your bottom line. That is me done, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you all later. Have a good one.